We are again. Thank you for coming back for another edition of Neighborhood Training. And this week we are going to continue our focus in the East Falmouth Station 5 district. And this week we're going to work on Old Meetinghouse Road. And as I'm sure you're all aware, that Old Meetinghouse Road starts at the Davisville 28 intersection, heads north, and then turns westerly through the bogs, and then heads back up, crisscrosses Old Barnstable, and heads out to Carrot Shop Road. And here we go. And this just kind of gives us a quick overview. Last week we kind of worked on the area of East Falmouth, nearer to 28 on the south side of Old Barnstable and Old Meetinghouse intersection there at the bogs. This week we're going to work on the more northerly section. We'll work on this Old Barnstable section here, from the bogs on up. And there are a few neighborhoods within this that we are going to concentrate on and that we should really focus on. We have the small development here of Flax Court, and then we have the Southview Way development in here. And remember that Luciano Botello Way is blocked off over here by John Parker, and this is Flax Pond. I need to know that. And this property here is the Rod and Gun Club property in here, and then we have the Andrews Farm right up in here. Now the interesting thing, we won't spend too much time on, the interesting thing about the Andrews Farm is it has been subdivided, but the development rights have been sold to the state. But there are two roads in there, Berry Patch and Ronnie Lane, and if you go in there for they have the different events in the course of the year there, but you'll see hydrants actually on the property, and that's because the property has been subdivided and the roads have been approved, but there are hydrants in different parts of the property. So hopefully we won't have an issue, but they do have the haunted house display, and also I believe they had a Christmas season display back there, so in case we ever do have a problem, they do have hydrants that are active in there. And once we get up a little bit more north here, we come into the Journey's End development over there, which can be a little confusing. And so that is something, that's an area there that we will want to concentrate on. And one other area here, you'll see this large area here of woodland that's going to remain woodland. This is Hayway Road and the water tower, but this whole property here will remain woodland. It's all been conservation, it's all conservation property and conservation land. So as far as our brush fire, forest fire potential, this will always remain the situation to contend with. And we'll work on the golf course and all that when we do Old Barnstable. But that's the area we're going to work on today. And we'll take a quick look here at the town map real quick. And when I look at that, this is readily available on the Town of Falmouth website, and basically just shows that we have hydrants throughout this area. There's no what I look for is I look for roads. This happens to be Berry Patch and Ronnie on the Andrews Farm development, and they have 3, 4, 5 hydrants already in there. So I look for roads that don't have hydrants. and both the old Meetinghouse and old Barnstable, the predominant is to have the hydrants there because of the pollution plume. We were very lucky to be able to get the hydrants out that area. So we'll start at the Andrew Street and Old Meetinghouse intersection, and as we're heading up north, on the left is Flax Court. We have a development there of 6 houses. They're all in about the 3,000 square foot area. They've all been built within the last probably 10 years or so. As you see here, the hydrants have 1,300, 1,500 gallon a minute flow. So we're pretty good with that. And next we will come into the Southview Way development. Pretty straightforward and pretty straightforward development. The houses in there are once again fairly modern, about 15 years old, and they're over 2,000 square foot. They're probably somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 square foot. And try to get this in a little bit better there. Okay. So we come in with Southview here, and as you can see, there are about 25 or 30 houses within the development there. I'm just trying to put in some of these landmarks here, because I think it's important to see where the driveways come off of in order to see whether there's access problems to some of the houses, but in this case there were not. And so we have Southview when we come in, and then Deolinda Place is the right, and then we come into Luciano Botello Way. As we mentioned before, this is blocked off right around in here. So that is that, and I believe that we just bring this up here. This is one of the houses that are in that development, kind of a typical construction type of house. This one's probably a good 3,000 square foot, a good size dwelling over here, and then obviously fairly large garage over in here. Just kind of show the way it's constructed with all these setbacks and L's. Just different type of construction. Okay. Now we have, right after that, we have the Rod and Gun Club, which we did do a pre-plan on already. I'm sure you've seen that come up. Right in here, this is all their property. And then the farm property is behind that. And we come up to one of the other roads we come up to is Viber Lane, which is a short road, only 6 houses on it. And then we have Canvas right up at the top. And I don't want to get confused between Canvas and Candice. So we need to, if we get that road, we want to make sure we pronounce it correctly. And as we go up, we hit Tobias Way, Cranberry Crossing here, and then Colonel's Way, which currently does not have any houses on it, but I'm sure it will in the coming years, and then Jasmine Lane. Okay. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time in the Rolling Acres development here, just to get that down. So we have a good gist of that. Coming off Old Meetinghouse, almost across from Bittersweet, we have Journey's End, okay, which does not come all the way down to Carrot Shop. Journey's End, I believe, has been recently paved. It comes down here, and then we have Rolling Acres. that comes around Journey's End over here. So if we think of it that way, as Journey's End, Rolling Acres is is this section over here, and then from the Carrot Shop we have Whippoorwill, Simmons, and Wagon Trail. Okay, so Simmons is a pretty straight shot down, and then we have Whippoorwill and Wagon Trail that cut us through there. Okay, pretty straightforward. Hydrants throughout. Years ago there was not. Now we don't have to worry about that. There are hydrants throughout that area, so we're in good shape. This is the property up here we're talking about that's going to remain forested. And we'll take a short run down Carrot Shop. A few little things I want to point out here. We get too far. We have the golf course, Falmouth Country Club here. And then we have a few houses along in here. And one of the properties that I want to touch on is a group of apartments that are right around in here. Not necessarily a hazard, but there we go. This particular area right across from the golf course, these two buildings here, one to the left here is a converted garage that has a couple of apartments in it. And then right next to it is another building that, if we look at it, there's 1, 2, 3 apartments on the bottom floor, and I bet you there's a stairway up top, probably accessing another 3 over in the top. So we need to be aware of these and not just think that, oh, this whole area is just single-family dwellings. We get approached by this. We don't want to be surprised. We want to definitely presents a hazard. And this here is the I believe it's a St. Andrews condo development right in here. Okay, and that's these buildings here, 3 units. They're all set up similar to this, 3 condos units, and so there's 2, 4 is like 4 to 6 of those in there. So, quite a few people in there. Well, we have a multi-family. That's usually what we want to focus on. Okay, and all right, and that about wraps that up. I want to review some of the aspects that we've spoken about today on Old Meetinghouse, right? Old Meetinghouse running Carrot Shop is where it ends up in the Old Meetinghouse Road neighborhood. Wood frame for the most part, single family dwellings. We do have a few apartments and condos, as we just mentioned. The square footage is talking about around 1,000 to 3,000 square foot. And the reason I mention that all the time is to remember our fire flows. Length times width divided by 3 gives us really a rough estimate of our fire flow. This being a square foot, 3,000, we divide that by 3, gives us 1,000 gallons a minute. We should be able to flow if that's 100% involvement. If it's only a quarter, 25% involved, then we take 25% of 1,000, which is 250 gallons. So we should be able to handle that with 2.5 inches. Okay, and the roads in the area we covered, Andrews Street and Parker Road, way up on the other end by the bog. Remember, Parker Road has the apartment, the condos at the John Parker Village. It used to be the hotel, now it's condos. And then the Southview Way, Deolinda, Luciano Botello development. And we have Viber, Canvas, then Berry Patch and Ronnie, Tobias, Cranberry Crossing, coursing, yeah, jeez, I gotta watch what I do here. Okay, and Colonel's Way, Jasmine, Bittersweet Lane. Bittersweet running from Old Meetinghouse to Sandwich. Then we have Rolling Acres, Journey's End, right, together, and then Whippoorwill, Simmons is the long road, and then Wagon Trail on the other way coming through, and then Carrot Shop. The hazards that we mentioned already, hazards, pretty low hazards, but you know, Ride and Gun Club, Andrews Farm, you know, just low hazards, just something to be aware of. Multifamily dwellings as well, relatively low hazards. Station 5's response is about 1.5 miles, 4 minutes. We should be able to get there. Headquarters is 4 miles, be about 8 minutes. So what's that telling us is that Station 5 is going to get there and have about 4 minutes before the next engine comes, which means it's important to lay in and important to set yourself up, position yourself correctly, and perhaps leave positions for the ladder. You're going to be on your own for about 4 minutes until the next engine comes along and the ladder come along. If one of those stations is busy, and also our third engine here is Station 4, which is only 5 miles away, and let's add an extra minute perhaps for that. So 4 and 1 should get there roughly around the same time. But that's the importance of that. Okay, that about wraps up this week's rendition of neighborhood training. We're taking the Old Meetinghouse Road neighborhood. All right, and until next time, stay safe and eat healthy.